New season, same expectations.
Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are preparing for another run at an NFL record 7th Super Bowl title.
You're going to see this team put up more points, possess the football more, and the defense, when they're capitalizing, when they're making big plays, it'll lead to easier wins.
58 summers at St. Vincent College make it more than just practice. It's a rite of passage.
We came out here last year. He was just a little baby.
Fans are pumped for a fresh start, and so are the players.
When you play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you either win a Super Bowl or, it's kind of a letdown. So every year that we come here, especially with Coach Tomlin as our coach and the roster that, we have each and every year, we want to win a Super Bowl.
Grab your terrible towel and settle in.
Here we go, Steelers!
This is Camp Confidential, Pittsburgh Steelers. Hello everyone and welcome to Latrobe, Pennsylvania. I'm Lauren Bradford and we're here at St. Vincent College where the Pittsburgh Steelers are gearing up for their 93rd NFL season. And over the next 30 minutes, we'll get you ready to go too. We'll take a look at their schedule. We'll hear from some of the players. We'll talk to a media insider on which players to look out for, and we'll get a look at some of the team's new threads this season. Let's kick this thing off with a look at the Steelers' schedule. The Steelers will kick off their 2025 campaign on the road against the New York Jets on September 7th at 1 p.m. Coming home for Week 2, Pittsburgh welcomes the Seattle Seahawks on September 14th. That'll be the Seahawks' first trip to the Steel City since 2019. Week 3 is a trip to Foxborough against the New England Patriots on September 21st. Here's where it gets special. Week 4, the Steelers face the Minnesota Vikings at Croke Park in Dublin, Ireland on September 28th at 9:30 in the morning. Bright and early start, set those alarms, Steelers Nation. Coming home from Ireland, the Black and Gold get some jet lag recovery time with a bye in Week 5. Then it's time for some division battles. The Steelers host the Cleveland Browns on October 12th at 1 p.m., then make the quick turn for Thursday Night Football in Cincinnati on October 16th. Week 8 brings Sunday Night Football and the Green Bay Packers to Acrisure Stadium, giving Aaron Rodgers the chance to join an elite group of quarterbacks that have defeated every NFL team. The Steelers wrap up the first half by hosting the Indianapolis Colts on November 2nd. The Steelers head west in Week 10 for a Sunday night matchup against the LA Chargers. Then it's back home against the Bengals before a trip to the Windy City to face the Bears in Week 12. Pittsburgh ends November by hosting Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. In the final 5 weeks, the Steelers will see an AFC North opponent 3 times. They're in Baltimore on December 7th. Week 15 brings Monday Night Football to Pittsburgh as the Miami Dolphins come visit. Then it's at Detroit, Week 16. Trip to Cleveland, and back home against the Ravens to close out the regular season. All right, now that we've taken a look at this schedule, I'm now joined here by Pittsburgh Steelers tight end Pat Frimouth. Thank you for taking the time here today. We'll start off pretty simple. What's camp been like so far? What's it like to be back out there on the field?
It's been great. We got a lot of new faces this year, and it's been good to build a relationship with the guys off the field and on the field and get on the same page, and it's been a great process so far.
Touched on it a little bit, some new faces, obviously a new QB1. What's it been like having Aaron Rodgers here, and what's y'all's connection been like so far?
It's been great. He's been awesome. He's a great teammate, great leader. He expects everyone to be on the same page, locked in on the details, and it's been good for everyone to kind of take their game to the next level. And he's been a great teammate. He's been throwing me the ball a lot, which has been fun, and the connection's definitely building.
Obviously, y'all have had some success here. You've made the playoffs, but once you hit the postseason, kind of struggled a little bit. What's it going to take for this group to get over that hump?
I think just the belief in each other, the execution of detail later in the season. Guys get tired and injuries start to happen, and we need to rely on keeping our bodies healthy and making sure everyone in the whole organization on the team is on the same page. And I think we got the right guys in the locker room this year to get over that hump, and I'm excited to see how this season progresses.
You've been here in Pittsburgh for a little while, gotten accustomed to it. The fans, obviously, big fans of yours. Every time you make a play, you hear Muth, cheering out through the stadium. What's this fan base like?
It's awesome. They love you when times are tough, and they expect excellence, and that's what you want as a competitor, is for the city to hold you accountable, and for the people around the city to really support you through the goods and the bad. And I think that's what being a Pittsburgh Steelers is about and that what the city kind of embraces. And so it's been great.
Talking about one faithful fan base to another faithful fan base, obviously came from Penn State. Can you talk about what it's like watching their success now and, watching the tight ends that have been able to come out of that? What's that like for you?
It's been great. Just watching, Coach Franklin and that program really get to that elite level. And, you're talking about a program that's probably, top 5 consistently through the whole every year. And so they got a lot of good pieces back, and I'm excited to watch them this year. And I think they should have a very successful season. And it's been cool to see the tight end position, tight end room there evolve. When I got there, they had some success with, Jesse James and Kyle Carter, and obviously Mike Gesicki drew drafted before I got there. But just kind of learning from Mike and Jesse and talking to them and kind of building that tradition in the room. Just seeing the younger guys, have success and get drafted and stuff like that. It's been awesome to be a part of, and it's a really tight-knit room.
Back here to the Steelers, you've had some strong seasons here. What are your goals heading into this season?
Yeah, well, I think the first goal is obviously, have playoff success. Being here, I want to be a part of winning seasons and winning postseason game, and just being able to play meaningful games in front of our fans. I think that's what the first goal of the season is, and I think secondly is just be there for the team and be able to make plays in big time moments, consistently be able to do that, and just be a part of a winning culture and a winning team.
If you had a message for the fan base that's been there, that's been supporting you throughout these years, what would that be?
I would just say thank you. They've been very supportive to me and my family. They've been great, just every single day. You can see the support, and you can see how the city embraces the team and embraces me, and just thank them for everything they've done, and looking forward to more success going forward.
All right. Well, thank you, Pat.
Thank you so much.
It's a season of change in Pittsburgh. The biggest addition, of course, is a new QB1, Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers is pretty sure this will be his last in the NFL, saying that's part of the reason why he signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers. The 4-time MVP has played more than 2 decades in the NFL and says he's looking to finish his career with peace. He'll be throwing to wide receiver DK Metcalf, who came over in a trade with Seattle, then signed a 5-year contract extension. They also added cornerback Jalen Ramsey and tight end Jonnu Smith in a trade with the Dolphins, and signed Super Bowl champ Darius Slay from the Eagles in free agency. Headed out, wide receiver George Pickens was traded to Dallas, while Minkah Fitzpatrick was a part of the package sent to Miami in the Ramsey and Smith deal. Joining me now to talk about some of those off-season moves and some of the faces to look forward to this season is Steelers insider and host of the Locked On Steelers podcast, Christopher Carter. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
What have you noticed so far about camps? What have been your biggest takeaways, being here every day?
Biggest takeaways, this defense is going to be different than the past few years with the Steelers. They're still going to be aggressive. TJ Watt's still going to be the star, but you're going to see them being more aggressive with the blitz, with how they bring guys from different directions, how fast they fly around, and a lot of that is because they are so much more confident in their cornerbacks this year. The additions of Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay have made a huge impact. Ramsey is lining up everywhere in the secondary, left outside corner, right outside corner, slot corner. Sometimes he'll drop back into a semi-safety role. But the idea is they want these guys to be able to cover whoever they want to cover. They're going to have these guys on the field a lot of 3 cornerback sets, but they want to take away your number 1 wide receiver, your number 2 wide receiver, and your top tight end, or whoever your top receiving threats are. And then if those guys are taken care of, everyone else is attacking and everyone else is flying, and it's going to be that much harder to depict what the Steelers are doing on defense.
Obviously, their defense has been their bread and butter in recent years, but some huge additions on the offensive side of the ball, DK Metcalf, Aaron Rodgers. What have you seen out of them so far?
Aaron Rodgers, you can tell how detailed he is in his work. And in these early practices, you saw the defense winning a lot of the reps. But as I've been saying on Locked On Steelers, I've been saying to a lot of people that ask my opinion, This is going to take time for Aaron Rodgers in training camp. And just yesterday, you saw in the Tuesday practice, the offense came out. They dominated the 7-shots drill, winning over the defense 5-2. They moved the ball pretty efficiently all throughout practice because Aaron Rodgers is a guy, his whole game is up here. It's a mental game. He wants to be able to make sure, hey, I need my guy to do exactly what I need him to do so that he hits the seam in the cover 3. He attacks the middle in the cover 2. We work when there's a certain zone, if it's quarters coverage, we need to find the space underneath where our guys that are really fast can catch the ball and run. Those are all the little things he's been working out, and now you're starting to see it in practice. That's been really impressive to watch. What you're going to see is a lot more passes over the middle, a lot more of those, if you listen to the Ravens on defensive coordinator at one point talked about how Russell Wilson was just 3-pointers and layups, and he didn't have that intermediate game. Aaron Rodgers is going to have a lot of intermediate game, especially with his tight ends, Pat Frimouth and Jonnu Smith. And don't overlook Darnell Washington as a third tight end. They love how athletic these guys are. These guys are big, fast, physical, and they all catch really well now. This is going to be an interesting year for Aaron Rodgers to sort of play at what the defense is doing and take what they're giving him. And that's what the Steelers really need from him. They don't need him to lead the NFL in passing touchdowns. They don't need him to lead the NFL in passing yards. They just need him to be efficient with the ball. When the defense goes to a certain look, identify it, attack it, and and have the rest of the team ready to capitalize on that with you.
Can you kind of talk about some of the weapons that he has and how that will play into his game? Obviously, you mentioned Pat Fryermuth, but you also have DK Metcalf, yes. Just a huge body right there to target.
He's huge. He's fast. He goes up and gets the football. He's going to be the primary threat. But DK Metcalf is also going to get a lot of the attention, which is going to open up opportunities for Frimouth and Jonnu Smith. But don't overlook the smaller, faster receivers like Calvin Austin and Roman Wilson. I think how they're going to get used is while DK Metcalf is running a go down the sideline or a deep post, or he's the primary guy or a corner route, you're going to see Roman Wilson or Calvin Austin run a shallow cross right under the defense. And if the defense isn't detailed enough, or if they leave a linebacker on him, both those guys run 4.4 speed. They're fast. It could be a simple Aaron Rodgers, a 3-yard pass that because these guys are fast and they don't have someone in front of them, they can catch the ball for 3 yards and take it 10, 15, 20 yards. That's going to be stuff that they need Aaron Rodgers to decide, hey, is now the time to go to our number one guy or to go to our tight end who might have a mismatch, or do our speedsters have an advantage here? All those balanced with, this team still wants to run the football. They drafted Caleb Johnson for a reason. He's looked really good in camp, and the offensive line is starting to come together. I think this offense is going to have many different ways to attack.
Being around this team in recent years, you've seen, obviously, they've gotten to the postseason, and then it's kind of, the wheels have fallen off a little bit. What do you think are going to be the keys to get over that hump and win their first playoff game since 2016?
They need to be fresher. And a big part of being fresher is they need their defense to not have to carry the team as much as they have the past 5 years, basically. If you look back at a lot of these years, the defense, a lot of their wins are keeping teams down to 20 points and the offense doing just enough to get them over the hump. And oftentimes in those games, there's lots of 3 and outs. Lots of times where the time of possession, the Steelers didn't win, but they found a way to win the game. This year, the offense needs to possess the football. They need to hold on to the ball so that now the defense isn't playing 40 minutes on the field or 35 minutes on the field. They're playing more like 25, 20 minutes on the field. And if they do that, you're going to see a more fresh defense at the end of the season, guys with less injuries, and then they're also being more aggressive late in the season. Why? Because also the defense hasn't had to call as many plays where they're bringing out the best parts of the playbook by week 9 or 10. They can save that for week 16, 17 in the playoffs. That's something we haven't seen from a Steelers defense really in more than 10 years now.
So when you look at this group holistically, what is the ceiling for them and what is a realistic expectation for what fans can expect this season record-wise?
I think this team can win 11 games right now. I think they can go 11-6 with the record, with the schedule that they have right now. They need to stay healthy. Guys like Jalen Ramsey, who's been a monster in training camp. I can't say enough about how good he has been and how good I think he'll be this year. But if Ramsey, Hayward, Watt, I think Patrick Queen, Pton Wilson, I also think the rookie Derek Harmon and Y.A. Black, the other rookie they drafted out of Iowa in the defensive line, all of those guys, if the secondary stays healthy, the front stays healthy, you're going to see this defense firing all cylinders. And I think if the offense is just above average, they don't even have to be top 10, just top 14, 13, 12. If they're in that range, you're going to see this team put up more points, possess the football more, and the defense, when they're capitalizing, when they're making big plays, it'll lead to easier wins. They won't have to scrape by and beat a team that has 3 wins by 4 points because they'll be able to do more. If that happens, you see them get 11 wins, and if they get to that point, I think if you get to 11 wins, instead of playing in your first game the Bills with Josh Allen in Buffalo or Lamar Jackson in Baltimore, maybe you get the Texans with C.J. Stroud, or maybe you win your division. But the point is, you got to be in a better spot by the end of the year. I think they have a great chance to do that this year.
All right. Well, thank you for all the insight you've been able to provide. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
For Steelers Nation, it's a summer tradition like no other, throwing on the black and gold and making the trip to Latrobe. I spoke with fans who said Steelers training camp is about so much more than just football.
Here we go, Steelers!
You can feel the electricity in the air at St. Vincent College from the time the gates open. These dedicated fans line the practice fields, hoping to catch a glimpse of their heroes, preparing for what they hope will be another championship run.
I'm super excited. I think it's a big what if this year, you know. Our ceiling's high, but, you know, our floor could be another 9 and 8, so hopefully not.
The autographs and pictures are great, but the black and gold faithful feel like a part of something bigger. It's more than just football here in Latrobe. It's a family tradition passed down through generations.
We came out here last year. He was just a little baby. Everything's pretty nice. Yeah, the experience was good. Pretty cool seeing everybody play on the field. Last year we got a couple signatures.
And as the fans bring the passion with their terrible towels, the players feed off it.
They love you when times are tough, and you know they expect excellence, and that's what you want as a competitor, is for the city to hold you accountable, and you know for the people around the city to really support you through the goods and the bad. And I think that's what being a Pittsburgh Steeler is about, and that what the city kind of embraces, and so it's been great.
This year's camp brings renewed hope with some new faces too, but the same goal as always.
Pittsburgh's going to the Super Bowl.
Latrobe and St. Vincent College got some national exposure this year. Former NFL kicker Pat McAfee, a native of nearby Plumboro, brought his show to camp. McAfee caught up with one of his longtime guests in Aaron Rodgers, chatted with Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, head coach Mike Tomlin, special teams coordinator Danny Smith, and GM Omar Khan. A huge crowd turned out for the 2-hour live show, putting the Western Pennsylvania football hotbed in the spotlight. I'm joined here by Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker Pton Wilson. Thank you for taking a minute here today. Just to start off, what's camp been like so far? You know, year 2?
Yeah. A lot different than year 1. Rookie year is a lot more stressful and stuff, but no, it's been exciting. You know, being out there with the first team and being with Patrick Queen, it's been really fun. Just flying around. Obviously, we're here at St. Vincent. There's not many teams that still do it like that. So, I mean, just being around the guys every day, all day, it kind of builds a sense of fellowship and a sense of brotherhood that you can't really get anywhere else.
Obviously, you talked about Patrick Queen there. What's this linebacker group? What's it like being in a room like that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent throughout the whole linebacker room. I mean, me, Patrick, Cole, Mark, Malik. I mean, there's a lot of talent in there, and just, you know, there's no egos in the room. So it's really nice to be in a room where there's no egos and everybody's just betting on each other to make plays. And when someone makes a play, we're all excited. It's been a fun room, especially with the addition of the new coach. I mean, he's really helpful, and just we really get along well and we play well together.
Heading into your second year, what's been the biggest difference year 1 to year 2?
I think just confidence. You know, getting back to a mentality of, you know, make the big play rather than don't make a mistake. You know, the confidence and being able to give someone like Cam Hayward and TJ Watt, guys who have been all pro, maybe one of the best at their position ever, calls without maybe like, I don't know if I should be doing that, but just the confidence. And obviously, like, coming into a setting like this, you know people, you know the playbook, and it's not as much mental stress, definitely.
Overall, being, you know, all the big names that are on that side of the ball, was it intimidating coming in last year versus where you're at this year?
I wouldn't say intimidating. It's more so just, you know, you got to learn the playbook, and it's hard to truly play fast until you know the playbook, like truly know the playbook, not just have it memorized. But I mean, there is a massive difference. I mean, this year I'm looking to, make a name for myself across the league, you know, trying to be one of the best in the world. And, you know, that's what we work towards every day. And it's awesome to be on a defense with guys where they are the best in the world at every position. So it just pushes you to be a little bit better.
Obviously, you talked about the confidence that you need to have within yourself, but to know that you have older guys in that room that have that confidence in you, what does that do for you as a player?
Yeah, I mean, it just continues to boost your confidence when you have guys like that, PQ, Deshaun Elliott, you know, guys that trust you to make that big play. It really puts a sense of confidence into you, just knowing that you belong, that you can perform at a very high level with the best that there is.
Being here at St. Vincent, what's it been like to have the fans out here and supporting y'all throughout camp?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, they're here every single day. So, I mean, obviously you can see it. We walk down this hill every day and they're there, and we walk back up. Just the support that we get from Steelers Nation is obviously nothing like I've ever seen. I've only been here and then in college, but I mean, you'll see some of these people, they travel from Mexico, they travel from different countries to come here. So just the dedication that they have, just when you're walking down the hill, you understand that, you're not really only doing this for yourself, for your family, for Jesus Christ, and, for the people that have traveled this far to see you perform.
Obviously, the Steelers franchise has been one of the most successful in the NFL, but they've struggled in recent years to, find success in the postseason. What are you guys hoping to do this season to be able to get over that hump?
Yeah, I mean, every season you want to win a Super Bowl, right? I mean, I think for us on defense, a lot of it comes down to communication, continuing to the defense that we put out in week 1, we need to see that same defense in week 18, if not 18 weeks better. There needs to be no, regression. I feel like last year, towards the end of the year, we kind of regressed a little bit from being probably the top defense in the NFL in the beginning of the year, but just, holding that standard the whole year, wanting to be the best defense in the whole NFL the entire year.
Heading into year 2, what would you define as a successful season for you?
I mean, for me, there's never any individual goals. It's always team. And obviously here, when you play for the Pittsburgh Steelers, you either win a Super Bowl or, it's kind of a letdown. So every year that we come here, especially with Coach Tomlin as our coach and the roster that, we have each and every year, we want to win a Super Bowl.
What's your message to the fans that have come out and have supported you all last season and then this summer so far?
Yeah, I mean, just thank you. We really appreciate the support. Without those guys, it'd be hard to walk down here every single day and do what we do. But, to continue to trust in us, and, that we put our heart on the line every single day, and, we're going to try to win a Super Bowl every time we step on that field.
There's a few big events coming up for the Black and Gold, including one of the biggest NFL events of the year. The Steelers and the city of Pittsburgh are hosting the NFL Draft in April. The 3-day event from April 23rd through the 25th will incorporate the iconic Point State Park and Acrisure Stadium. There will be a number of activities surrounding the draft, including a concert series, the NFL Draft Experience, and the Play 60 Zone for kids. It's being called a full circle moment for the NFL Draft, as the first player selections meeting was held in 1936 at the Fort Pitt Hotel in downtown Pittsburgh. Steeler Nation is everywhere, but this season the team is going international, taking the field in Ireland. Pittsburgh and the Minnesota Vikings will play at Croke Park in Dublin on Sunday, September 28th. It'll be the first regular season game held in Ireland, but the Steelers are no stranger to the Emerald Isle. They took part in the first NFL game there back in 1997, a preseason win over Chicago. The team's owners, the Rooney family, emigrated from Ireland, and the late Dan Rooney served as the U.S. ambassador to Ireland from 2009 through 2012. Expect the stadium to be packed. Croke Park is one of the largest in Europe, with a capacity of more than 82,000. The Steelers will have a new throwback jersey this year. The yellow jerseys and helmets honor the 1933 squad, as well as the legacy of Pittsburgh. The 1933 season was the inaugural season for the franchise, then called the Pittsburgh Pirates. The team wore a similar version of this jersey in 1994 in conjunction with the NFL's 75th anniversary. The new Threads are set to make their debut on October 26th for Sunday Night Football against the Green Bay Packers. And an iconic toy brand is partnering with the iconic sports franchise. The NFL and Hasbro are teaming up for a new line of Transformers action figures. The Pittsburgh Steelers are one of the first 4 teams to be featured. The 5.5-inch action figure converts from a robot to a football helmet. The other teams featured in the first run are the Dallas Cowboys, Green Bay Packers, and Kansas City Chiefs. The figures retail for $25 and they're available for pre-order on Amazon, expected to be available in December. We hope you fans are ready for football season after all this hype and enjoyed your time here with us watching the Steelers in Latrobe. I'm Lauren Bradford. This is Camp Confidential, Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see you next time.
Here we go,
Steelers.
Here we go to the Super Bowl. Woo!
Woo!
Here we go, Steelers.
Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Woo! Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.